Good evening, Chris Lee and Joey Dwyer of Vandy Sports here at the Hoover Met. Vanderbilt has beaten.
This is the most chaotic Raptor
get hit by
ever.
foul balls or running 8-year-olds chasing foul balls or whatever. Vanderbilt has beaten Florida 6-3. A much-needed win for Vanderbilt. One that probably gets them in the NCAA tournament. I think 11-17 against Quad 1 now. Most of those losses against top 10 RPI teams. A win over a Florida team that now, I'm not sure that the committee is going to sit there and agonize over Vandy. And Florida's the last team, but if it did, Vanderbilt now 3-1 against Florida on the year. Feels like this one got him in. Again, you never know. There's a lot of baseball to be played. I think tomorrow beat Tennessee, and I think you could sweep pretty easily. But bottom line is, Vanderbilt came out sharp tonight. It came out ready. It did what it needed to do. Got a little rocky late with Brennan Cyber on the mound, but he was able to finish the game, which I think they needed. That saved him a little pitching, and you have to be happy, I think, if you're Vanderbilt about what you got tonight.
Yeah, I think Vandy made a statement tonight, and I think they came into the night with a lot of uncertainty about what the future held for them in the next couple weeks, the recent future. And I think tonight they got some clarity. I think they made a statement that they are an NCAA tournament team. I think they played with a lot of confidence tonight. They really fed off of each other, and that's something that hasn't happened through a lot of the year. I think this is a huge win for them, and bigger than all. And I know this is a little off topic, but I don't think it's any coincidence that since they've started honoring Asher Sullivan, he's kind of been with them. They've really played well and have done a lot of really good things. Tim Corbin talks a lot about that tonight, but I think he's very special to this program, and they've honored him in a good way. But again, Vandy made a statement tonight, and I think this is maybe their biggest one of the year if Saturday wasn't.
Yeah. Better odds Vanderbilt gets to the NCAA tournament, or we get our camera knocked over by a kid.
You know what? I'm going to say Vandy makes the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. I hope you're right. It's that was close. This may not be the longest podcast ever. But, we'll end with the Asher Sullivan thing. But Bryce Cunningham tonight.
Excellent.
I asked him, what was your best pitch? Because I thought his slider was really good at times. I thought his fastball was really good. It felt like he worked off the slider. And I said, what was your best pitch? He said, I think my changeup was my best pitch, which really tells you a lot. When you've got 3 pitches that you're throwing for strikes and they're working and you're a major league caliber pitcher, which he was rated 33rd in MLB Pipeline's latest draft rankings that I saw, you're probably going to win pitching in a park like this that's a little more forgiving. Not that he had a lot of moments where the ballpark bailed him out for the most part, but you're not seeing the cheap home runs down here that you saw all season. And I just felt like everything kind of came together for them tonight.
Yeah, Chris, the one thing, if I'm a scout, bigger than Bryce Cunningham's performance tonight was what we talked about post-game with Corbin. He wanted the ball in this game. He texted Scott Brown and said, I want the ball on Tuesday. Yeah. He took it, and he delivered. Vandy needed him to be their guy. They needed a guy. Bryce Cunningham was that today. I think that was a huge testament to what he is and the competitor he is. And Vandy finds a way to win behind him. He really gave him a huge boost early, the way he was able to kind of put Florida down. And he only threw, 77 pitches tonight, but he was really efficient. He got strikeouts. He had 6 of them. He got swing and miss. Didn't have a whole lot of hard contact. They had, 5 hits? And a lot of those hits were just bloop singles or balls that maybe shouldn't have got through. You saw Caglione hit it at homecoming. It got through the infield. They ruled it a hit. But Vandy, I think, really fed off of Cunningham's energy tonight and him being the competitor he was tonight and coming into this game and wanting the ball and wanting to be the guy who delivered and actually doing it, I think was a huge step for this team. And, again, a huge statement that Vanderbilt made and Bryce Cunningham made himself.
They kind of got more out of their offense than the sum of the parts in a way. They had 6 hits. They scored 6 runs. They got a Calvin Hewitt home run, and that had something to do with it. But it was more really delivering when it mattered. And they got, at one point, they had 5 base runners on. They had 4 runs. That's just baseball. Sometimes it's your night. Sometimes it's not. They will probably do one of those days. But I think the thing that stood out to me tonight, and it's one game, so let's not make a big deal. But we've said all year, felt like the team didn't have an identity. You've seen him kick the ball around at times. The pitching hasn't been great. The ballpark played to the way this team was made in terms of the pitching. I wondered, okay, what about the defense? Well, two things stood out to me tonight. R.J. Austin, I think moving him back to second has been a really good move. He made two really good plays in the ninth tonight. Fielded a solid second base. That's one thing. And another thing, that play Calvin Hewitt made in center.
Excellent.
When he and Humphrey collided with each other, and it's a big ballpark out here, guys. I feel like that's a play that a lot of the year they weren't making. Tonight they made some big defensive plays in the ninth where, like, look, you give Florida another runner or two there. You got Jack Caglione. You got to pitch to him with traffic. You probably have to go to the middle of the green at that point, maybe kill him for availability tomorrow. I felt like their defense paid dividends in a lot of ways tonight.
Yeah, and I think Calvin Hewitt's emergence was huge.
Yeah.
First of all, that was a heck of a play by him to make that catch. Not only to make it, but when he was on the ground, he threw it to Humphrey. Really heads-up play by him, and they needed a veteran to step up and be a veteran. He was that on Saturday, and he was that today. Tim Porter mentioned he reached base 10 times this weekend, and then today was excellent as well. Had their biggest hit of the day. They ran the bases really well today. I thought they defended pretty well. They pitched really well. That's what this team needed to do all season. You saw Marcy when he hit the double, so like I wasn't covering the bag, and got to second. Espinal made a really nice base-running play to score there. They were what they were constructed to be tonight, and I think they proved that with some confidence, they could be a team that you don't really want to see if, I guess, you're a one seed in a regional. And I don't think Vanderbilt, if Bryce Cunningham's rolling and you have Carter home, maybe, I think they got a chance.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the ball. I missed it that he flipped the ball, but I mean, that's one of those spots where it's a pretty deep alley here. You lose track of what you're doing, focus on, getting yourself off the ground. A guy can take two bases and score on a sac fly. To have the presence of mind to flip that, it felt like, we said this all year, like the little things they just didn't do.
Right.
Tonight it felt like they did all the little things well. I mean, the only flaws that you can really pick were there was a wild pitch and a pass ball late that helped score a run, and there were a couple of balls, one hit to Holcomb, one hit to Austin tonight, that were scored infield singles that could have been errors. And you laugh, you're used to major league scoring in college. That's just the way it is. But they were all hit by Jack Caglione. It's about the hardest ground balls in the history of mankind. So that had something to do with it. But here's the point: they didn't really pay for anything tonight. Really, the only mistake was, if they'd lost this game, you could have said they left Cyber in too long. The Robertson home run late, you're just going, man, they just got to hang on by their fingernails now.
But they tried to run for an out there.
Yeah, but that and you've also got to save pitching if you want to win more games in this tournament. Odds are in this ballpark, it's very forgiving. You can get away with some stuff, and it played out fine.
Yeah, I think tonight was a big stepping stone for them. And if you look in a couple weeks and they're making kind of an improbable run, it's because of Saturday and it's because of tonight. If they turn it around, it's going to be Saturday where Calvin Hewitt and J.D. Thompson took control, and then tonight where Calvin Hewitt and Bryce Cunningham took control. They needed alphas, and they've got them the last few weeks. From a veteran-led team, they haven't been there all year. They were there tonight. They were there a couple nights ago. They delivered when they needed to deliver. But tonight was a big night for Vanderbilt in a lot of ways. Not only bolstering the tournament resume, which I think tonight is probably good enough to get them in. I was a little more optimistic heading into tonight than most people were. But the RPI, 22 now? I think they got a real chance to maybe do some damage if they can get in as well.
Yeah, I think
with the right situation.
And if you take the conference off in a way, because I think the speculation about them not getting in the tournament, a lot of that felt like to me like, okay, the NCAA just isn't going to take 11 teams for a conference. So let's sort through the odd team out. Well, Alabama's got an RPI in the 20s, or did until tonight. LSU's won 5 series in a row. South Carolina RPI around the third. It's not going to be well, Florida Dandy. You could have seen this as a loser goes home game. I think Florida probably gets in, but who knows? But I think that's
all right, fans, it's time.
Put it up your pepper. In the big games,
sure.
optics matter. I think that was on people's minds too. So,
and they're playing their best baseball in the last 2 games, and I think another concern I have with them, I don't know how much the committee really looks at it, they were trending downward towards the end of the year. Today and Saturday, they've started to play a little bit better. They started to beat teams that I don't know if they would have beaten a week or 2 ago. They have some confidence.
We got a packed stadium.
Positive trajectory, which they probably hadn't had. I'll use visuals because you probably can't hear me. But positive trajectory.
What else could happen here? We got checking to see if we're getting hit by foul balls. We got kids left and right in front of us.
That kid
We got our LPA.
The kid in the old Michigan, Chris, he can throw it.
And he might be needed to throw tomorrow. Speaking of which, asked Tim Corbin after the game, after the press conference, who are you going to throw tomorrow? A tripod missed getting knocked over by that much.
Yeah.
Asked him who are you going to throw tomorrow. He said, I'll talk with Scott Brown about it tonight. My guess is it's Devin Futrell.
Yeah.
I think that's a good matchup. He pitched well against Tennessee. It's a forgiving ballpark. He's pitched his best ball. I thought the three-inning outing against him was as good as we've seen all year. Now, maybe you could say, hey, Tennessee's seen him once and they could adjust to him. But to me, that's your best guy.
Yeah.
It's an upperclassman. The park is more forgiving to the things that don't go well for him. To me, I'd be surprised if that's the move. The other thing we're watching, did we ever see Ethan McIlvain warm up?
No, but it seemed like he was walking in the direction of the bullpen at one point. I don't know if he came back, but we both saw him go out there. And also worth noting, Futrell was in the bullpen pregame and he was throwing.
Okay.
So it looks like he probably will be available tomorrow in some sense, and I would probably guess he's the starter, right?
I mean, I'm trying to think of other options. I don't know if you want to do something like Sam Leboke for an opener and just see. I mean, I think it's Futrell because I don't know what.
Yeah, and they burned Cyber today, and that was another guy I was thinking maybe would be kind of an opener-ish for them because he started against Lipscomb a few weeks ago. He has some experience starting. A lot of the guys that they would throw don't. And maybe David Horn, but that's so late in the year for him. I don't get that. Carter hasn't been super reliable recently. Holton, I think, might be hurt. So I don't know, but that's what I would guess is Futrell, right?
Devin Futrell of the field.
Devin Futrell.
That's what I'd take too.
So
Chris, go ahead.
Let's get to Asher Sullivan.
Yeah, Tim Corbin was asked a couple of questions about Asher Sullivan. If you don't know the story, Asher Sullivan was a 10-year-old boy who'd been to their camp. Their brother has been to their camp. His older brother has battled leukemia. The younger brother, Asher, tragically died this week and been on life support for a week or two in a drowning accident after the flood and just a freak accident. Been a big thing on social media, been in a lot of the prayers of Vanderbilt fans and other people, and he passed this week. Tim Corbin talked about what that meant. Just a very, very difficult thing for that family to get through. And they honored him tonight. They honored him tonight by helmet stickers, I believe it was, and you could tell that it was a thing that has been on the team's mind.
Yeah, again, no coincidence that all this positive stuff has happened as they've honored Asher Sullivan and as he's been on their mind. I think their family is the microcosm of what's right about the Vanderbilt fan base and what's right about college sports. So it's terrible to see. Keep the Sullivan family in your prayers, but I thought it was really nice to see them honored tonight, and especially the way this one finished. You know?
Well, should we quit while we're ahead?
I would say so.
Yeah, I might not be as frustrated with my 10-year-old when I get home.
I'm just glad my tripod is intact.
Right.
Well, actually, Elena's tripod, which I stole because mine broke.
Yeah, how many times have we been missed by a ball by like less than a foot?
This is a lot different than the empty Memorial Gym rapid reactions, Chris.
Yeah. There are a few more hazards in play.
I'm hoping we don't get copyrighted.
Yeah, well, don't hold your breath on that. All right. Thank you to all our sponsors, including Anchor Impact, a Murfreesboro Pure Milk Company is the sponsor of Baseball City. They are.
They're cheering for the Murfreesboro Pure Milk Company.
The Wash House, Sutherland and Belk, and then Maynard Nexus. We don't have to read with us, but we're named, and that's the best we can do. Our tripod almost got slid into again by a kid. So we'll call it a night for Joey Dwyer. I'm Chris Lee.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching here at Vandy Sports.